What's up, everybody? Welcome to Discourse and Chill. I'm Ian.
And I'm your girl Reese.
On today's episode, we are going to talk about self acceptance. We're going to talk about how important it is. We're going to tell you about our journeys, and we're also going to give you some tips or some ways that can help you with your self acceptance journey. We're super excited about today, and we want to continue these conversations that matter and are beneficial to our communities. So, Reese, what is self acceptance?
Well, Ian, self acceptance can be defined as it's the awareness of one's strengths and weaknesses, talents, capabilities, and general worth, and feelings of satisfaction with one's self despite deficiencies and regardless of past behaviors and choices.
Nice.
Self acceptance pretty much helps you to realize your qualities, both bad and good, and eases feelings of guilt and possibly unhappiness. So, Ian, um, have you experienced some issues with self awareness or self acceptance? Like what challenges did you have growing up, if any?
Yeah, I think I had all kinds of challenges growing up. I think the two biggest ones were like one, my name. I did not like my name. I was when I grew up. Every time I introduced myself, it was "You're the only black Ian I know." Every time I introduced myself, it was uh, like, "How do you spell that?" The name you're spelling it wrong. So those are I think those were two things. And I was a military brat, so I moved a lot. So introducing myself was kind of a part of, I guess, a way of life for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a constant thing that I had to navigate and deal with. And it took me a long time to start to like my name, to appreciate my name. I love it now. And then also I was like my self acceptance or my self worth was always tied up in what I had accomplished. So good grades, athletics, like I had to be the best at everything. And if I was not, then like I was hard on myself. I was down on myself. So I grew up in a space of constant insecurity, constant like punishing myself really, Like I
Yeah.
remember in the sixth or seventh grade, we had to run the mile and I ran like maybe a 5:15,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like great for that age. And like everybody in my class was nowhere near me, and then one person ran a 5:13 or a 5:12 and just beat my time by like 2 or 3 seconds, and I was devastated.
Oh.
And I like made myself do push-ups and sit-ups and made myself run. I had to run a mile in less than 5:12. Like it was a constant struggle for
Yes.
me growing up. And that lasted for a very long time.
Oh
That
wow.
lasted into my adulthood with things, like whether that be work. Um, I would say maybe until about ten years ago. Like
Oh wow.
I really had to make some changes and really look at myself in the mirror and just accept myself for who I was, because I was constantly beating myself up for all the shortcomings or all the things that I didn't have that I wanted, all the different comparisons that I would use. Like, well, like this person has this and I'm that age and I should have this, or this person is this and I'm close to them and I should be this. So
Yeah.
yes, I had a very extensive self acceptance journey that
Wow.
lasted well into my adulthood. But I'm happy to say that now I love the hell out of myself, and I appreciate my faults. And just because I recognize them, I don't have to like be down on myself because I have flaws. I'm human, and it's okay. I can recognize them and make changes, but I don't have to beat myself up over it.
Yeah. Do you
So how
know?
about you? Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
real quick, I was gonna say, do you know why those 2 seconds made you so like hard on yourself? You did push ups and sit ups and ran them out. Like,
Listen, I I honestly can't say that I specifically know where it came from.
yeah.
I know there was a lot of pressure growing up from my parents, but
Hmm.
mainly just grades, and grades came easy. So that was never an
Yeah.
issue. But like in regards to like physical things, like I was gonna go to the NBA or be in the NFL. You know, like
Yeah.
that was, and then my backup plan was a lawyer, and like I
Okay.
had that path for myself at a very young age. It's like these are my
Yeah.
two like outlets, and then as I got older, I was like, track is a possibility, so that's gonna be NFL, basketball, and then my backup plan is gonna be track, and then if none of those things pan out, then I'm gonna go be a lawyer. And I remember when I was in college, I was on the track team, and I tore three ligaments in my ankle,
Mm.
and that was it for sports. And that probably was
Yeah.
the hardest time of my life with self acceptance because all of my worth had been placed on how athletically gifted I was supposed to be or I was, and
Yeah.
to not have the ability to run track in college, to like really like try to damn walk again and run again
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
was a struggle. I was super depressed, and it took me a long time to get out of that space. But once I did, I just leaned on other things where I found acceptance and worth. And even then, it took some additional years to really like find myself, be myself, and love myself in
Mhm.
the way that's important. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
So, how about you?
Um,
How was? Did you have a journey?
so I think I had two different journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Younger years, like elementary, middle school, I had like this. First off, I have an older sister, so I've always been Rosalind's little sister.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people make comparisons, to us. I've always been cute, so like as far as like looks and that whole thing, I've always known that I am beautiful. I think my
You
family
cute
did
and
a really good
everything. You
job.
cute and everything.
you know. But my family did a really good job in instilling like the self esteem side on us, or
Mm-hmm.
trying to instill the self esteem side on us. But my sister has this curly hair. We got Indian in our family type thing. So she has like this wetted and it curl up. It was just long all down her back. Um, she was just known as like the beautiful one, even though of
Mm-hmm.
course we are both equally beautiful. She was the beautiful one, and I'm like
Yeah.
the little sister.
Yeah.
So like I it took me a while to be seen from her
Mm-hmm.
shadow. So it
Okay.
was a lot of like she matured before I did. Like she hit puberty first. Obviously she's older, but like
Yeah.
she blossomed. Me, I had no butt. Like I had no booty whatsoever. So of course like I got picked on for like, just have like a pancake butt. And then I was chubby, I mean I've always been chubby and now plus size, if you would. So I got picked on for being fat. I didn't realize
Mm-hmm.
then I wasn't as big as I thought I was. Just in comparison to like the people around me though. Like, we had a bunch of like, skinny little girls growing up. You know how it is. You got those thick thin ones, and then you have those in the middle, then you have, the chubby and the fat girls. So I fell into the chubby fat girl category. And again, my family always let me know that I was beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and to love myself. It's one of the things that was instilled in us. But when I get to school, like all of that falls by the wayside. When the little boy you got a crush on is picking on you because you
Yeah.
ain't got no booty, like like okay, I'm cute today, I got my outfit on, and the first thing he talks about is, oh, you ain't got no butt, you ain't got no butt. So that that definitely played a part into like fully embracing
Mm-hmm.
who I was. And then being in the shadow of my sister was one of those things. Like everybody just kind of flocked to my sister. I don't know why, but everybody just flocked to Rosalind. She
Yeah.
had like this long pretty hair, and it was like wavy one day, or she can straighten it out the next day, and oh, your hair's so
Mm-hmm.
pretty. Type things. And I'm thankful for her because she was always there to like reinforce. She's like, we look just alike. If they're calling me
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, they're calling you beautiful because we look. People thought we were twins.
Yeah.
So she was really good at reinforcing my self esteem. So shout out to my big sister. I love you. So she kind of helped to kind of keep my mind focused on I'm beautiful despite what other people say.
Yeah.
Me accepting myself has nothing to do with somebody else's opinion of me.
Mm. Yeah.
So again, I just had a good support system family wise in regards to that aspect of it. Um, and then as I got older, I think I mentioned in season one that I went through cancer twice, which
Mm.
led to having a full hysterectomy, and my womanhood being questioned not only for myself but by a bad relationship that I was in. So that kind of like made me have to step back and reevaluate and put things back into perspective as far as like who I am and
Mm.
loving myself and being enough um in the process.
Yeah. I think all of that. Uh, that part's important, and I think
Yeah.
sometimes you lose those thoughts in the midst of like obstacles or storms
Mhm.
or whatever you want to call them. Sometimes you just forget to just love like the parts of yourself that are thriving or flourishing or that are doing okay. We focus so much
Yeah.
on where am I failing that we forget
Mhm.
to celebrate where we are exceeding or where we are excelling.
Yeah.
And I would say that was part of my journey as well. Like, even like grade school to high school, like A's, B's
Mhm.
every now and then, but just A's. And so that was a space for me to like celebrate and never did. And I think
Yeah.
that was probably a product of me how I grew up. It was just expected of me. It's like if
Mhm.
you could get A's, you get A's. Period. Like,
Right.
and it was no thing. Like it, I don't want to sound like cocky or anything like that, but it like school was easy to me. Like I felt like it was rinse and repeat kind of like our
Mhm.
curriculum. I just felt like it was easy, and it was such a place for me of I had to get good grades to play
Yeah.
sports. And so my motivating factor to getting good grades was like, well, if I get bad grades, I'm not going to go to the NBA, like that. I was connecting those two things.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like, and I definitely would even say I tailored my expectations. Like when I was in high school, I knew the NBA was out of reach for me. I was 5'10", and like I was a better football player, and I was a better track athlete, hands
Yeah.
down. Like not even like close.
Yeah.
And honestly, I knew football probably wasn't going to be placed. Like by the time my senior year of high school, I was like, track is going to be it. Like that's what I got. Like I can run
Yeah.
a I can run a 10-300. So like that was my claim to fame, or my like the thing that I tethered to. Like I'm
Yeah.
fast, period. And so like I'm gonna go to the Olympics and I'm gonna be X, Y, and Z. Um, and yeah, I think you forget all the ways that you are successful in moments of failure. And I
Yeah.
think I routinely fell into that hole. And I think that's where I fell short and where the cycle continued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I can get that. It's funny thing that you thought you were going to be Hussein Bolt.
I did.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's good that you knew that. You knew that. Okay, so I'm not tall enough for the NBA, shorty. And then
I'm
you.
5'11" now though. Like let's be real. Let me get my inch. Like in
Oh,
in And
okay.
yeah, I want my whole inch. Like I'm 5'11" and some change. I ain't 6 foot though.
Okay. Okay. All right, 5'11".
And
We'll
some
we'll give you
change.
whatever height you feel you need. Can up. But I think it's good though that you were able to kind of distinguish where you were once you said, okay, I'm gonna do this or this, and then to figure out, well, this is gonna be the one, and then
Hmm.
it had to definitely be disappointing to tear three ligaments.
Hmm.
So I know that had to sting a lot. Um, what were some things that you did, or like what kind of helped you get past it? I know you say you were depressed for a while.
Hmm.
What did you do? Like how did you snap out of it to say?
I found something else to tether to. For me, like athletics have always been a place of like stress relief,
Hmm.
enjoyment. there was a period where like walking was difficult.
Yeah.
So there that place didn't exist anymore, and so um, I got a job working at a barbecue restaurant, and it was love at first day at work. I was a dishwasher, and I hated washing dishes, but I knew that I was gonna be a cook. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna be a cook. Like I've always loved to cook, and I wanted to cook on that pit so bad,
Yeah.
and it just became the thing that I threw myself into, you know. And it was just like another thing to be really good at, and so it allowed space for me to I don't want to say forget,
Yeah.
but definitely a space that I had something else to look forward to. Definitely something else that
Mhm.
I tethered myself to be really good at. And like college was hard for me. Like I'm not gonna pretend like I got myself out. I think it wasn't like I said. It wasn't until I started doing poetry. I feel like, and
Mhm.
specifically, I wrote the poem, my insecurity poem,
Yeah.
and I really confronted a lot of like admitting that I was insecure was
Mhm.
huge because if you would have asked me from the time I wrote that poem any time before, I would have said I'm not insecure. You know,
Yeah.
I'm confident. Like I I talk to anybody and I play that role very well. But it was a
Yeah.
role that I played for so long, and
Yeah.
honestly, like I was insecure as
Yeah.
yeah, I was for a very long time, and like writing that poem and like being able to look at myself in the mirror, read that poem, and perform that poem was a space of like really acknowledging like it's just accepting like I'm insecure and that's okay, you know, like it's not a
Yeah.
death sentence, it's not something to get me down. Like I'm insecure but I'm still good at all these things, I'm still a good person, you know. Like
Yeah.
and I started tethering to all of those things about myself, like all the things that I brought to the table, all the ways that I presented or held space for people or how I was a friend to people. Like yeah, I think that's how that started really the journey of really getting myself out of that like self-destructive cycle, you know.
Yeah. So you have a
Mm-hmm.
line in that poem where you say, I have been concocting counterfeit confidence for you.
Yes.
Which is yeah, which is really dope because once we begin to like accept who we are, we can kind of see ourselves improving. You know what I'm saying? We kind
Mm-hmm.
of like, okay, this is where I am. And instead of me pretending or like putting up this facade,
Mm-hmm.
like that line obviously sticks out because I remember
Yeah.
it. But while practicing self care, you can uncover like hidden gifts and talents that you didn't even know about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So with you being so open and just admitting in that poem that
Yeah.
is amazing. By the way, it's a fan favorite. Um, but like I said, that line in general, like, was just like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? How many people got knocked back and was like, dang, am I doing that for myself?
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely necessary.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
there, go ahead.
No, just I was just acknowledging like yes, it was definitely necessary
Very
for me.
necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, one time for the poet.
Thank you, thank you,
But
thank
there are 10 ways to accept yourself.
you. Mm-hmm.
The first one being is embrace what makes you unique. Sometimes we have to find things that are special within ourselves, and like see where we where those differences help us to like add value to our life. One thing that I would say, like, one of my uniqueness points or factors for myself, I think, is my smile.
Mm-hmm.
My smile, when I tell you she be putting it overtime, I can really be having a hard time or a tough day, and just can smile and nobody would ever know. So this is my biggest accessory, and she gets me through a lot. And I just like that, I can turn this smile on and I give it freely. Sometimes a smile can make somebody's day.
Mm-hmm.
And just simply smiling. So I always say, I have smiles in my pocket and I give them away freely. So yeah, I think my smile is one of my unique features. Is it something about yourself that you feel like stands out? Like this is my thing. Can't nobody take this
Mhm.
from me. Um,
Yeah, I think it's my name.
yeah.
Like, I think it was something that I didn't appreciate for so long, and
Mhm.
then now I love my name. So
Yeah.
my name is Ian. It's spelled Eean,
Yeah.
and I know you've never seen it spelled that way, and I love it. Like,
Right.
I think for a long time I was always disappointed. You go to a theme park or a gas station, and they have like the little keychains, and
Listen,
like my name ain't never here. Like, what is
yours,
this? You know?
mine either.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it's always a conversation starter. It's always a place of like, how did your parents come up with that? Um, so yeah, I think that's something that I love about myself now, that makes me unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Um, Good.
you can never find Charisse either on the keychain. Especially spelled the way that, that my mom spelled my name.
Hmm.
Everybody called me Sheris. Sheris. It doesn't look like Charisse to me. I'm like, Sheris to me. It looks like Charisse because that's my name.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but I was like, well, maybe she just threw like an E on the end or something, and people wouldn't call me Sheris. But then they'll probably call me Shiraz. Like
Right.
either way, it's gonna mess up my name. It's
Mhm.
Charisse. But chillers, you can call me Reese.
Yep. Another way to accept yourself is to let go of the things that you cannot change.
Yes.
I think this is one place that I think too good at sometimes. I think sometimes my my let go game is strong, and
It
uh,
really is.
it's a place where I'm trying to hold on a little longer before I let go. But it definitely helps, in my opinion. Like, and maybe it's a place where I held on for things too long when I was younger, and so now it's like
Yeah.
another extreme. But
Yeah.
yeah, like there's events that are going to happen in your life, and definitely you're going to need time to process them,
Hmm.
and you're going to need time to like really think through them. But at the same time, you have to give yourself space to just say, you know what? There's nothing I can do about this. I have to
Yeah.
continue to move forward in my purpose, like love myself, appreciate the things that like I have, and just continue to move forward. And so I think that's something that I think this is a thing that I have embraced a little bit too much. But it definitely is something that has helped me along the way. How about you?
Yeah, for me, I want to say that's one of the things that I had to learn to do. I
Mm-hmm.
had to realize that other people's opinions of me is none of my business. So,
Mm-hmm.
I can't control how people put together um like the narrative. I can be who I am, and
Mm-hmm.
then they can interpret it however they want, but how they interpret it again is none of my business.
Yeah.
I just have to stay true to who I am, and that for me, again, it took me a while to get there. um Again, as younger, I was good. I had enough support around me, enough people that were still pouring into me. And
Mm-hmm.
then I just early 20s, those were some rough days,
Yeah. Yeah.
just dealing with the fact that dang, I'm not complete in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
when didn't realize that I have always been my whole self, and to get back to knowing that I am now as I was then my whole self,
Mm-hmm.
so just having to let go of that, trying to control all situations and change things that I had no chance of ever changing. So
Yeah.
yes, once I decided for myself that other people's opinions of me is not my business, then it just kind of like turned right on around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another good area is to identify your strengths. Sometimes you have to write down things that you're good at and or that you love to do, or just do the things that you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Identify your strong areas. For me, I'm a really great helper. So I'm really strong at helping others. and just being able to troubleshoot. I
Mm-hmm.
am a critical thinker. I can problem solve. I am quick on my feet. So in all those instances, I know that's where I'm strong at. And then helping other people to navigate their situations is a really good strength of mine. So I pride myself on being able to assist and help others in multiple areas of their life and or their journey,
Mm-hmm.
while still making sure that I am not depleting myself fully.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my strengths, definitely creativity. It's a
Yes,
place where uh, I just find it's home, you know? Like it's a place where if I had to live, like I would want to live in that space. And
yeah,
it used to be a space of like just a space that I was super critical of myself in.
hmm,
But now it's like it's home, and whether it be poems or I've been getting into design. I just like to dabble in different things like
yeah,
painting, decor, like all kinds of things. Like if there's a creative process to it, I'm gonna find it and inject as much creativity into it as possible. I
yeah,
think that's something that has has been home for me, and it's a strength of mine, and I embrace it fully.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love your creativity. I have
Thank
benefited from it,
you.
especially my Enigma pieces. Listen, Enigma wire and stone. I'm telling you, Ian can wrap some jewelry.
I
So
appreciate it.
definitely, yeah, definitely. Love the strength in your creativity.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
And that is not to say that you don't have some creativity of your own. You know,
yeah.
Reese got her own waist bead line, so
Okay.
called beads. So go check
Yes.
those out too.
Okay. Yeah. Bees by
Yep.
Therese Rochelle. Big or small, I can waste them all.
Listen, I've never heard that pitch, but I love it.
Really? Oh, listen,
That's
that's
the
my
first
tagline.
time.
Yes, that's my tagline. Big or small, I can waste
I
them
can waste them
all.
all. I love it.
Yeah. Come through. Come through. Let me adorn you. I got you. Look, I got you.
Let us adorn you, you know? Waist beads,
Okay.
necklaces, bracelets, what you
Right.
need.
Oh, what you need?
Another good way to find self acceptance is to set goals.
Hmm.
This right here is a game changer. I
Hmm.
read a book, The 33 Laws of Power. Is that right?
Is it 32
33
laws?
Laws of War. One of those two. It's a book by Robert Greene. I can't remember. I think it's the orange one, The 33 Laws of Power. But one of the laws is plan to the end.
Mm,
And that is something that I have learned is super important. And people talk about like 5 year plans and 10 year plan. No, plan till the end. Plan
yeah,
till you want to be done. And if that's in 15 years, then you need to plan 15 years. I know it's
yeah,
not hard. I have a running plan now that I'm trying to essentially plan to the end. It's all the goals that I want to have, and I add to it regularly, and I try to be as detailed as possible. And you don't have to do it all in one sit down. You know, you start off
right.
with 5 years, and then you just continue to grow it throughout a period of time until you get to a point like after I accomplish this, like I'm done. But
Yeah,
just plan to the end. It'll give you a lot of energy. It gives me a lot of energy. I don't know if it'll give you, but it gives me a lot of energy because you see where you were 5 years ago, and you see
yeah,
where you are now, and you see the things that you've accomplished, and you're like, man, like it's fulfilling. You know, I remember doing the Marquee Slam and like wanting So Fried to be in Fayetteville. You know, like I'm first it was I wanted to go to nationals because we went to So Fried one year and didn't go to nationals, and so I was like,
hmm,
that's the goal. And then it was
yeah,
like we gonna have the biggest slam in North Carolina, and then check. And then we're like, we're gonna bring we're gonna bring So Fried to Fayetteville, North Carolina. And so and I think that's another reason why I think the trajectory of the slam happened the way it did too, because I feel like that's what that we planned to that end, and we brought So
Yeah,
Fried in the next year, and it was just like this is a perfect place for this to end, you know.
yeah,
And I think planning to the end and planning and setting goals is super important. So what do you
yeah.
think?
Yeah, I think the same. I also think that whenever you are setting those plans, make sure that they are realistic and attainable. Because one Mr. Ian Michael Tyson knows that look, he will plan for Jupiter, bruh. Can we come back at least to the moon? Like,
No, no.
like come on, so make sure that they are attainable. Um, and no, when you mentioned Marquis Slam, that was the goal. Like, we want to get So Fried to Fayetteville, and then after we did that, and we got to where the end goal was, it just kind of fizzled.
Mhm.
There's nothing else to try to reach because we
Yeah,
had done that and then some. So it was like,
yeah.
you still want to do this? No, not really. Okay, we're gonna let everybody know tonight that this is our last night. Like,
There was
yeah.
more conversations than that, but yeah, it definitely was one of those things where we just like
That's the
this
Cliff
this
Notes version.
we done, like that's what it felt like.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
That was the
we
Cliff Notes
finished.
version. Yeah, 7.5 years. It was like, you did good. You did good, kid.
Exactly.
Right. So after you set those goals, you want to make sure that you celebrate your accomplishments. Listen,
Yeah.
um, we definitely, pat on the back to you. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to me. Anytime that you set those goals, you need to just be proud of yourself,
Hmm.
for what you were able to accomplish. And that's you being proud of you. That's not you seeking validation from anybody else. That's
Exactly.
you celebrating you. So make sure that anytime you set a goal and you reach that goal, just make sure that you celebrate yourself for it. However you feel you should celebrate. Just celebrate yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I am terrible at this. I am I'm bad at celebrating the things that I accomplish.
Yeah.
And it's cuz I'm critical and I think, well, I could do better or I could be doing more and there's not time to celebrate. And I've been trying to embrace this a little more. I've had
Yeah.
some people outside of myself to push me along and help me on this journey of celebrating the small things and the small wins and being able to be proud that you worked out 6 times this week and not focused on the fact that you didn't work out 7 times this week. Be proud.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
proud of all that you've accomplished because like yes, 2020 was a storm, but guess what? We survived.
Yeah.
We need to be proud of that part,
Yeah.
and we need to be proud that we're here in one piece and being able to see other days and even those little things like I'm proud of this air. I'm proud of this
Mhm.
this ceiling over my head. I'm proud of having a best friend to do this podcast with. Finding
Okay.
gratitude and celebrating and celebrating all these little moments are super important and empowering and being able to leverage those things for momentum and energy definitely helps for me with confidence and self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I have gotten better about not necessarily celebrating my accomplishments, but let people know. For a long time, I would celebrate by myself. Not that I
Mm.
need anybody else to celebrate with me, but like people like, oh, I didn't know that you did that. Oh, wow, you do that too. Oh, girl, why you didn't tell nobody?
Yeah.
Just because you never know what people's intentions are,
Hmm.
and I don't trust easily. I don't know if I could trust people in a space of accomplishments without somebody being critical like, oh well, that's all you ain't do more than that. So I
Hmm.
I celebrated in silence for a long time. I wouldn't let people know what I was doing or
Hmm.
what I accomplished. And I had to get better about that and like let people that I know that truly love and care for me know what I got
Yeah.
going on. And if they celebrate me, great. But I'm gonna celebrate myself. So yeah,
Hmm.
it was really big on just letting other people know um, that I am to be celebrated as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's super important, and like I said, it's a space that, like, obviously we are trying to inhabit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Another one is plan ahead. This
mhm,
is similar to setting goals, but just try to plan ahead, like prepare yourself for the meeting that you have tomorrow, and
yeah,
prepare yourself for the busy day that you have,
yeah,
or try to plan out meals for next week. Just plan ahead to help you find ways of calm in the midst of everything that life has for you. Because I
yeah,
think that's a very important space, is just to be able to be calm when life is not sometimes. And I think those things help you cope and help you find ways to celebrate and help you find ways to set goals. And so just plan some you time, or plan an event, or plan to work that overtime, or plan to have family time. Just set those things aside, so it gives you an opportunity to celebrate and to continue to work hard and to continue to set goals. How
yeah.
are you at planning ahead?
See what had happened was right. It depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I have found myself in this place of I'm gonna go with the flow, and what will be,
Mm-hmm.
which has landed me into some heartache for not planning ahead,
Mm-hmm.
not getting myself mentally prepared. Sometimes planning ahead doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, well, today we're gonna go to this store, then that store, then this store. It also is like planning ahead for the people that you might have to encounter,
Mm-hmm.
for the situations that you might have to encounter. Going to work some days are not great days,
Yeah.
and sometimes I have to mentally say to myself, today is going to be a good day. I am in control. I am in control.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't control other people's actions, but I can control my reactions. So I have to like plan ahead and tell myself like it's gonna be a good day, and it's gonna be a challenge, but you can do it. I have to
Yeah.
affirm myself in different ways, and I plan for that. So yeah, I just have to mentally prepare sometimes. Work isn't always fun.
Yeah.
And on those
Absolutely.
not so fun days, I have to make sure that I acknowledge that it's not going to be a fun day, but it will be a day that I will survive. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I hear you.
I
I
have
think
to.
visualization is huge. I think it's important to be able to really tailor or tone down those reactions. Because
Yeah.
your reaction is dictated by you. Like Reese said, you
Mhm.
cannot control somebody else's actions, but you can control your
Yeah.
reactions. And I think visualization helps. I think like setting intentions, like today's going to be a good day, is super important as
Yeah.
well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which leads to the next point of thinking positively. Like if you really um change your mindset. I tell this people all the time. You have to change your mindset. If you think the worst is going to happen, then it probably will, but if
Yeah.
you stay positive and make sure that, I am thinking with the positive about today is going to be a rough day, but I am capable of handling this day. You can acknowledge that it's going to be a bad day, but you also have to acknowledge that you will survive it, you can get through it, and that I am capable. So just
Mm-hmm.
thinking positively, turn that negative self-critical thought like, oh, I can't do this, like, I'm going to try my best.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. You might not complete it fully, but you can say, I am going to try and give it the best that I got. Just don't be too hard on yourself, and a positive mind yields positive results. So
Mm-hmm.
think positive. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Think positively. I'm super optimistic, and now, and
Yeah.
always want the best, or always want things to go according to plan. And so I always believe that they are, and even when
Yeah.
they don't, I still like try to find the silver lining to continue to move forward. So yeah, definitely think positively. Um, Even example, weather. Like
Yes.
I like this year, the weather has been crazy here in Tennessee, it is snowed and rained and been sunny and just like all the seasons in short periods of time. And it got to a point where it's getting to me. It was like every weekend was either has been rain or snow. It's like the days I have off is raining or snowing, and I can't take this anymore. Like I need a day where I have
Yeah.
the day off and it's also nice outside, you know?
Right.
So it just is being able to like take that situation and be like, I can't control the weather, but I can go run in the rain. It's fine. Like I can embrace a sunny day on a Thursday. Like it doesn't need to be
Yeah.
Saturday for me to find joy in the sun.
Mhm.
I can find joy like in the rain or in the sun, and I just have to. It's up to me to find the joy that I need to find in every single day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was good. It doesn't have to be a Saturday for me to enjoy the sun. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll enjoy it on Tuesday.
Another way to find acceptance is be kind to yourself. Again,
Yes.
this is a space where I'm
Mhm.
trying. I have a whole journal right here of
Mhm.
not of a mix of not so kind words and some kind words, and I'm trying to find ways for the kind words to win. And
Yes.
this definitely goes back to like celebrating your accomplishments. Like today I need to find joy, and I had a successful day at work, and I was able to record this pod with Reese, and it's a beautiful day outside. And
Mhm.
just waking up and like just be happy to see yourself. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm alive. That should be enough.
Yeah.
That should be
Yeah.
enough. So
Sometimes you have to treat yourself for like those pampered moments. Be kind to
mhm.
yourself in that way. Soak in a nice look. They say warm baths. I need my bath to be scalding. Like I need to boil. I don't know what it is. Me and hot water have this love affair. I'm telling you. Listen, it has to be hot. Like it's got to be hot. Okay.
I don't need
Because
to
I don't know. It's
sweat
just
in the bathtub.
you said what you said. Listen, I have sweat in the bathtub because it be hot. Look. But listen, that's releasing all that toxins. Get out of me. Get out of me. So sometimes just a nice warm or super hot if you're me bath, or just
Mhm.
going for a walk in nature. Like you said, you can enjoy the sun on other days except for Saturday. Or
Mhm.
outside of Saturday.
Yeah.
Um, this is one part of being kind of myself that I need to work on. Just by like eating right and getting enough sleep and
Mhm.
exercising regularly. I am affirming that I am going to be kind to my mental, my physical, and my emotional. So I have to like just do better in that regard. For just being kind to myself and to my body.
Mhm.
Right now I have a knee injury, and it's like, oh, I've got to make sure that I, work this knee without overworking this knee so that it doesn't turn
Mhm.
into something long term.
Mhm.
So I just have to be kind to who I am and make sure that I am embracing the obstacle and being optimistic and positive about the hurdles and seeing the obstacle to the end.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Yeah. Another thing you can do is get involved. Volunteerism is an act that is so underrated. Like people don't acknowledge how impactful volunteering is, not only for the community or for an organization, but also for yourself.
Mhm.
You learn so much about yourself when you're doing something that you love or something that makes you feel good. Helping people can make you, feel really good. So get involved. You can, and if you don't feel like you want to volunteer, find a new activity. I found
Mhm.
waist beading, and I was like, oh, this is good for me. So just get involved and find that thing that or that group, that activity that helps to help you find out who you are and makes you feel
Mhm.
good about who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think volunteerism is huge. I love to get involved. one of those things that makes me feel amazing every time that I do it. I never have any regrets. It's interesting because I heard Denzel Washington. He was giving a commencement speech, and he said that essentially, like, giving of yourself is one of the most selfish things you can do. And he said because it's going to make you feel good immediately, like
Mhm.
the like what you feel in return in that instance is so satisfying,
Yeah.
that it's a selfish act. And
Mhm.
I I love it because it's true. Like, to give
Yeah.
of yourself feels amazing, and you're essentially helping two people every time you give of yourself. You're helping the person that you are giving to, and you're helping yourself in so many ways. And I think getting involved is huge, and I think there can never be too much of it. I
Yeah.
want to make sure that I do it more often. My dad and I have got together and cooked for his church,
Yeah.
and each time that we have done it, I've felt like just felt amazing, you know. And this last time, I didn't even. I just went early in the morning, cooked, and I had to leave before everybody got there. But I just felt good that I contributed, you know. I didn't get
Yeah.
to get all the quote unquote like thank yous and all that, but it didn't even matter. Like, I knew that I was
Yeah.
helping people in the community, and so that felt good.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
dope. It's real dope.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Another good one is find support.
Hmm.
I think this is another huge one. I talked about on season one that I was going to start therapy this year. And
Hmm.
so next Friday is my first session. So
Yay.
I'm telling
Y'all
everybody
plan
I'm
for next
following
Friday.
through.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'm excited, but I'm definitely intrigued, and I'm
Hmm.
definitely open to the experience. I think it's going to be super impactful in the long term, and I'm looking forward to uh, the support and finding ways to support myself and find additional self acceptance and to find ways to better myself through this experience, or to learn things about myself uh, that I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I have great friends like Reese, and I got amazing parents. So I definitely think support is super important, especially
Hmm.
nowadays.
Yeah, I think that's dope. You might not be excited, but I am excited for you. I say this all the time. I love the idea of Black men going to therapy.
Mm,
There is so much that has to be unpacked for the Black man. Um, be it historically and or personally, it's just so much.
mm,
There's this weight that is kind of like this lingering thing, that is their elephant. There's always an elephant in the room that nobody really addresses.
mm.
And I feel like being able to sit down and address some of those things is super important, and I am excited. Like, I'm excited for you. So you might be intrigued, but I am excited.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so and then it doesn't always have to be a therapist. You can share your feelings with your family, your friend, or someone that you
Mhm.
feel like you truly trust.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
find the support, find that person that will pour into you and help you accept who you are.
Hmm.
So I think that's really 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 dope. And I know I touched on it earlier, saying that a positive mind yields positive results. So there's some things, some thoughts that you can have to help you just increase your level of self acceptance. Things that you can say to yourself, and things that you can just kind of repeat. Make it a daily thing. One that hit me that I loved was, I can be myself without trying to prove myself. And again,
Hmm.
once I realized that other people's opinions of me was none of my business, it, like, yeah, this one hit me like a ton of bricks. I can be myself without trying to prove myself. So that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Um yeah.
I agree. I think that's
Yeah.
something that we all struggle with, you know? Like, you want to
Yeah.
always prove yourself, prove that you're worthy, but you were worthy when you woke up this morning, you know? Like,
Yeah.
period. I think one that hit me, I can accept myself whether I win, lose, or draw.
Yes.
Um, and I think my entire life has been about how I have won, and when I have lost,
Mm-hmm.
like I've lost more than just whatever I was losing. Maybe I lost myself in the moment. Maybe I lost like time, but I think accepting myself whether I win, lose, or draw is huge for me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That that's a good one. Another good one is it's silly to favorably judge myself by how well I am able to impress others, gain their approval, perform, or achieve. Listen, again, somebody else's opinion of me is none of my business. So it's easy for me to think that, I have to judge myself based on if I'm able to impress somebody else. I'm gonna impress
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
If I'm able to gain the approval, I approve myself. Like how I
Yeah.
perform, I perform at the best, like my peak performance level, and
Hmm.
then like achieve. Like I'm going to strive for those goals that are reasonable and attainable. So it's silly to favorably judge myself based on how well I impress somebody else. Like, get out of here. Yeah.
Another one that got me really good is I have many faults and I can work on correcting them without
Mhm.
blaming, condemning, or damning myself for having them. We are
Yes.
human. Like, none of us, not a single one of us is perfect on this entire earth. And we
Hmm.
compare ourselves to what we see in magazines, to what we see on social media, and we get a false narrative about how other people are, but we are all flawed humans. And there are things about myself that I want to change, and I am working on changing them, and I do not have to like beat myself up or blame myself or condemn myself for any of those things. I can just acknowledge them and correct them and try to keep it moving. So that's what I
Yeah.
try to do regularly.
Yeah, that's a good one. So it is equally silly to unfavorably judge myself by how well I'm able to impress others, gain their approval, perform, or achieve. I I can't make you like who I am and or what I do. I just can't, unfortunately. It doesn't work that way. So well, unfortunately for you, it doesn't work that way. But for myself, I can love who I am. I can
Mhm.
accept myself, flaws and alls, and know that I've said this quote a few times. I am only responsible for today, and all
Yeah.
other days will take care of themselves. Like, it is one of the mantras that I live by daily. I tell myself in all situations, I am only responsible for today, and all other days will take care of themselves, as well as your opinion of me is none of my business. So, listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another good one is I can acknowledge my mistakes, hold myself accountable for making them, but without berating myself for creating them. Again, like
Yeah.
this goes back to having faults. Like we all are going to make mistakes. We all are going to fall short of the standards that we have set for ourselves or the expectations that others have of us. And
Hmm.
it is okay to like admit that you were wrong, apologize for being wrong, correct that mistake, and you don't have to beat yourself up over it. Like you are still a good person, like that just made a mistake, and it is
Yeah.
okay. So forgive yourself, even if the other person refuses to forgive you. That is not your responsibility. Like Reese said,
Yes.
other people's opinion of you is none of your business.
None of your
So,
business. Yep. And to
so
stick
don't
with that thing, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I said to stick with the theme of other people's opinions of you is none of your business. You have to tell yourself every day, I am beholden to nothing or no one in order to accept myself. Like, I
Hmm.
don't owe you dust. Like I listen, I can be me without your approval. What
Hmm.
matters the most is how I accept myself, how I treat myself, and how I treat other people.
Mm.
Now, what you deal with in your journey and how you want to put your karma out there, what vibes you put in the universe, has nothing to do with me, as long as I am finding the love within and then sharing it freely with all those who need it and welcome it.
Exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
I do not have to let my acceptance of myself be at the mercy of my circumstances. There are going to be
Yeah.
times where you do everything right and it
Hmm.
is just not in the cards. But that does
Yeah.
not make you any less of a human. It does not make you any less of a person. It does not make you a failure. Sometimes it's just not in the cards. There have been
Yeah.
times where I knew that I did the right thing, I prepared the right way, and the thing that I was going for just didn't come to fruition. And I beat myself up over it, and there's no way I could have foreseen, or there's no way I could have known that life was going to deal me that set of cards. But
Yeah.
you can just accept it and keep it moving. Like, I still
Yeah.
love myself today. Um, and I think that's just important that life is going to deal you a bunch of cards and you may not be prepared for it, but your circumstances do not define who you are. You
Yeah.
define who you are.
Definitely. I think a good thing with that is sometimes, I feel like, our lives are predetermined. There's a
Mm-hmm.
path that and a reason why we're here, and there's something that we're supposed to get to. And sometimes we feel like we can control what our destiny is. Not knowing that it's already destined, but oh no, this is what I'm supposed to do. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to get those no's, or get those rejections in order to throw you back on the path for where you're supposed to be. Sometimes we end up in
Mm-hmm.
situations longer than we have to be, and in circumstances longer than we have to be, because we're trying to say this is what I'm supposed to be doing, when in actuality it might not be what we're supposed to be doing. So
Exactly.
circumstances and life will throw you a curveball just to put you back on the right path. So you have to be positive in those times and say, okay, maybe this wasn't where I was supposed to be. Maybe this wasn't the situation for me. And okay, let me take the lesson. There's a lesson to everything. Let me get these lessons. So now that I know, and then I'll apply that to, the journey going forward. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's big. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think self acceptance is a place of beauty. Like coming
Yeah.
into that moment is going to give you power. It's going to
Hmm.
give you so much self love. It's going to give you the confidence that you swear you didn't have. Like, wake up and just and love yourself and continue to just be you. Like, there are unique, beautiful things about each of you, and there are things that none of us will ever have that you will possess. And
Hmm.
you cannot, we all cannot compare ourselves to the one thing that this other person has that we do not, whether that
Yeah.
be physical, mental, whether it be emotional, whether it be financial. Like, we are in the space that we are meant to be in, and
Hmm.
you have to learn how to navigate your journey. And self
Yeah.
acceptance is a great part of that, and a great way to slingshot yourself into the places that you want to be.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember that everyone's journey to self acceptance is different. But you can learn to be comfortable in the skin that you're in. Like your skin is yours, my skin is mine. I'm comfortable here.
Yeah.
Listen, I have made room. I've stretched out. Got myself comfortable right here. That doesn't mean that there aren't things that I want to improve,
Hmm.
but I love myself, flaws and all. So just, everybody's journey is different, and you can learn to be comfortable just as you are.
Absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
that is a great place for us to end this conversation. Reese, I love you and I accept you fully as you are. And chillers, look, it's season 2 and she got me saying chillers already.
I was gonna say, yeah. Well,
We are super happy that you're here, and season 2 is going to be packed full of amazing episodes, and we cannot wait to continue this journey with you, Reese.
yay. I love you as always. And don't forget, if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for joining us, and we'll holler at y'all later.
Bye, chillers.